Hi there, I'm Juliana Carroll, and this is my sister and partner in Coffee and Tech, Lisa Jackson. Together, we are your hosts here at the Coffee Tech Talk Show, exploring anything and everything to do with work orchestration and automation. Hey everyone, welcome back to Coffee Tech Talk Show. My name is Lee Jackson, and as always, I'm with my sister, Juliana Carroll, my co-host. Say hey, Jay.
Hiya.
I wanted to mention that today is sponsored by Circle TPR, and that's wearecircle.com. We are in our brand new studio. We're very excited about it. And I am here with two amazing ladies that I will be introducing to you shortly. And as always, please make sure that you follow us across our social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Coffee Tech Talk. And our website is coffeetechtalk.com. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
So I wanted to start by just, tell us a little bit about yourselves and how did you get to Blankets from Home? But before we talk about that, tell us, your backgrounds. Who would like to start?
You want
Lisa?
Sure, I can start.
Okay.
So my background is actually, I've had about 30 years in selling sales technology solutions to major corporations and enterprises. I always wanted to have my own company ever since I was a little girl. I used to pretend like I owned a restaurant.
No.
I don't know why. And then I sold lemonade for a while. Then I would give kids their change. It's one of my famous Lisa stories. But anyway, so 6.5 years ago, I started a company actually called Gear by Design. And so I've been running that. And then Laurie and I became friends several years ago. And Laurie came up with this really cool idea. And we joined forces to create Blankets from Home. And this will all connect in a minute. But that's sort of our background, or my background.
Very nice.
Uh-huh.
How about you, Laurie?
So I kind of went the opposite direction. I was an entrepreneur for several years. I was a private jeweler. My background is actually gemology, master appraiser.
I didn't know that, and we're actually friends, right? And I didn't even know that, so I'm getting to know that about you here. This is great. Keep going.
Before that, I was a dance instructor. So
What?
I know I have a sordid past. Yeah, I used to own dance schools and 2,000 students, and tap was that's what I love to do.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm taking dance classes right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, which
We
I
might
love.
have to do that together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I didn't even know that. That's amazing.
So
Wow.
then I went back to work in 2012 for a company
Okay.
called Gégé Le Coude, and I sell luxury timepieces now.
Okay.
But decided that I wanted also my own company again. But that's kind of how I got started.
I think it's a great story. Did you always know each other? I mean, how long have you known each other? Did you you were drinking wine one night and say, hey, I have this.
Our sons went to the same school.
And we had the same mutual friend,
Yeah,
but we didn't, she hung out with a mutual friend and I hung out with a mutual friend, but
Right.
we really didn't hang out.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then we met for coffee one day, and then
Yeah.
it kind of all came together, hence coffee.
Coffee Tech
Yes,
Talk.
yes, true story.
It's kind of crazy. It's kind of the same with me and my sister. She came to Vegas one day and we just went walking my dog in the neighborhood. We went to a coffee shop and we sat and talked and we were like, why don't we, do this together and let's da-da-da. And we talked about it and here we are.
Here we
That's
are.
So we actually launched it in the summer of 2020 during the whole pandemic situation,
Mhm.
so it's been fun. So this is a question that we always like to ask everyone, and you can answer it together or separately. How do you define work?
Well, my answer is probably pretty simple. If it's really difficult, it's work.
Okay.
That's all. That's what I'm defining work. Because if I struggle with it, then it's work. Otherwise, everything seems to flow. I don't feel like I'm at work. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Is that a
Interesting.
strange answer?
It's a different answer, but I like it. But yeah, because it's like work to me is like solving problems, right? So if something that's not very easy or a situation come up, then you have to figure things out. That's definitely the part of work that's really, really key.
I agree. And that's
Yeah.
probably what I was saying. That's work to me. If I really have to work hard at something, figure it out, do the whole thing,
Right.
right? I
Okay.
tend to talk with my hands, sorry.
That was good. I do too. How
I
about you,
define
Lisa?
work as ideally it's something that you enjoy doing that gets you up and going in the morning. Work to me also is having goals and objectives.
Mhm.
So that's what work is to me.
Okay. Between the two of you, who is like
The one that goes,
The one that
charges
goes-
down the way?
yeah,
That's
that-
her.
who's like the badass, like, you know, you got to do it this way, and who's a little bit more relaxed?
I think she's
I-
the first. and
Yeah,
I'm the
I
second.
am.
I'm a little
Okay.
more relaxed.
Okay.
Yep.
Because she'll charge, like, all of a sudden we have shirts, you know?
For today, which is good. Did you
Yeah.
know about the
No,
shirts?
no, we did have shirts before today, but I'm saying, I forgot we had the shirts. But-
Okay.
But the point was, all of a sudden we have shirts.
Yeah,
You know, and she's like, I think we need shirts. I'm like, oh, good idea, you know?
yeah,
And that's
It's
where we
branding.
work. It
It's
is
branding.
right,
I mean, it's an
absolutely.
important part of
That is very
corporate
important.
identity
Mhm.
and brand awareness and recognition. So
I
gotta have
think,
that.
I think that's definitely, you know, the synergy, right? When you have partners, I think that's really important when you're growing a company. It's kind of like, you know, with my sister and I, we're,
Yeah, which one of you is the charger?
that would be her.
Oh, okay. You and I get along great.
She's the older sister. I don't know. I think it's kind of given, right? Like the title, because
That's
she's older. She always tells me what to do.
I'm the oldest.
And
I'm the oldest
You're
too.
the oldest. She's
Yeah.
the oldest. But it's kind of like me by myself. Most people would think I'm like the one, you know, to do that, make the decisions, and you know, be the charger, what you called it. But around my sister, it's kind of like I sit back and I just let her. You know, she's like she drives the boat or drives the
Except-
plane.
Yeah.
Or the
She
car.
makes me think I drive the car or fly the plane. A lot of
Except now
times
and then I will
checking to
interject.
see if I have like my parachute on.
What were you saying,
I
Lauren?
said, no, I just said it, but every now and then I do interject, trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you have that with a partner, right? There's a trust.
Mhm.
And you respect, you know, each other, you
Mhm.
respect each other's decision and
Yep.
ideas. And if you don't do that, you know, that's a sure fail of not things working out. You have to
We-
listen to each other.
We've had a couple times where, you know, she'll want to go one way, I want to go the other, and we kind of will get a little standstill, but then that doesn't last very long
Okay.
because we are very respectful of each other's opinion.
So I like to, if it comes up between us and maybe she says something and I'm like, I'm not sure about that, but I want to hear, because maybe she's approaching it from a different angle and a different perspective than maybe I am. So if I hear why she wants to do something, I at least want to hear, you know, okay, what's the reason why you think this is the right thing to do? Because
Mhm.
maybe it's something I haven't thought of,
Right.
and vice versa.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to have that, to dig a little bit more and understand where the person's coming from and then decide.
Couple of Christmases ago, my son, who actually serves also in the military, West Point graduate, decided to bring home a soldier at Christmas. And I panicked because he didn't give me any time to figure out what I could get this young man.
Mm.
So I ran to the store. I won't say which one because maybe they didn't sponsor. Anyways. Just easy. I ran to the store and I thought a blanket, because first of all, he'll have his own personal blanket at my home, but also he could take it with him. Well, right before he left, he said, Mrs. Holbrook, I just want you to know I'm going to take this blanket everywhere I go, everywhere I'm deployed, etc. Because of the warmth and kindness that you showed me, he said, it'll always be a blanket from home. That's where the name came from,
Ah, okay.
blankets from home.
Very
So
nice.
then my son's civilian friends come over and they see the blanket that I gave his friend. They all want one, right? So I run out and I get more blankets. So then our mutual friend we mentioned that we had,
Mhm.
we went for coffee and I'm like, she already has a business going and she does this sort of thing, advertising, logos, etc., products. And so then we met and I said, rather than me reinvent the wheel, would you like to be a part of this? And she loved the idea. So it's evolved from not just soldiers and sending blankets to them, but also to grandparents, to children, to, we donated to the St. Jude's Children's Home, a bunch
Okay.
of blankets
Oh, that's
to
lovely.
kind of make them feel special. So you want to elaborate?
No, I think
I love that
you wrapped it
organization.
up really well.
I do too.
Yeah. Did you have any more questions on that? Well,
Well, then that leads to what this project is. So I don't know if it's
I
time
was-
for that yet.
I was going to add, so my sister actually is a vet,
Oh,
and
cool.
she has 3 kids that are vets. right?
Wonderful.
And
I have three
military
kids that
family.
are military, and then 2 has since exited, and they work for banks now. But my son is still in the military. I think he's gonna be a lifer. And then my son-in-law is also in the military. So
Oh,
we're
wow.
very much a military family. Yeah. So what you guys were saying resonate very much. So my daughter was she had 2 tours in South Korea, and then she came home for 6 months and they sent her to Afghanistan. My son's been deployed multiple times, and then my son-in-law had like 8 deployments back to back. So yeah.
My son was also in South Korea. Maybe they were there at the same time.
Maybe.
It's a small world.
The concept while they're out and about in the world and with their, and I know there's soldiers out there that don't necessarily have close family or something like that, for them to get a blanket out of the blue
Yeah.
or just a blanket from family that they can carry with them and wrap around them.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they're just
Hello.
feeling lonely or they're feeling sad or whatever, you know, it's a hug from home. And that was the whole concept behind this, which I think was
That's beautiful.
really,
Thank you. And we have other colors and, you know, et cetera. We have levels of blankets. We do bamboo. I mean, we do weighted blankets because weighted blankets is really nice for comfort. Those are for nursing homes. Do you know what a weighted blanket
I was
is?
gonna say, there's weights in there, makes it heavier.
it's
What is
like, they're pellets inside the blanket.
that? Okay.
And it's actually like scientifically proven.
Mhm.
And they can weigh anywhere from 5 to 7 to 9 pounds. But it is
Oh, okay. I've
absolutely
seen those
calming
blankets.
to people that
Okay.
are
Maybe have Alzheimer's.
lots of anxiety or Alzheimer's. It's proven that just that
Really?
blanket and the weight of it calms them down.
Mhm.
Okay. That's nice.
So that's another avenue that we've started actually,
Okay.
falling into the nursing home realm.
And when did you launch this company?
A year and a half ago.
About a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how's it going right now?
It's going well. Of course, we always want growth, right?
Yeah.
But, and I think I mentioned we could use some technology help.
In the marketing realm.
Because everybody loves the idea, and every time we talk to somebody about it, they buy a blanket.
Yep.
But I can't talk to a million people at once, right?
Right.
So we have to figure out how to get our message out there better.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at, because we have the infrastructure. There's a group, and you may have heard of this, Juliana, but it's called the Boodle Brigade. And it's a group of women that get together, and they'll sponsor anywhere from 10 boxes to, depends on who's backing them, to
Mhm.
500 boxes. Well, we have people that are including our blanket in those boxes.
Okay. That's good.
And that's this
Because
Douglas
it's
Green
perfect
Foundation.
in the square box.
In,
Okay.
It's
you
right
know,
in
the
there
priority one.
with
Okay,
everything
yep.
else.
And then we fill it up with goodies or personal hygiene products or things that, you know, have been donated. So with that being said, that's something even, you know, bigger that
Yeah.
we could elaborate on.
So we're partnering with this foundation,
Mhm.
the Douglas J. Green Memorial Foundation. And so we're doing what's called Sponsor a Soldier.
Right.
So for $50, and it's a tax donation,
Right on.
Right.
write off, thank you.
Yes.
It will cover the cost of a box with goodies in it, a blanket, and the postage.
Okay.
And then the foundation will take care of mailing the boxes off. And then when you sign up for it, you have the option of, and there'll be a little note in there to the soldier,
Mhm.
but you have the option, if you want to, you
Mhm.
can have the soldier right back to you when you place
Oh.
your order. And just, you know, say, hey, I got your blanket or whatever.
Very
If
nice.
you want it, if you say that, yeah, I'd love to hear from the soldier.
Okay.
So that's what we're working on right now. We've got a launch right now this month, and then we're gonna do it again in September.
Okay.
I actually received pictures from a soldier, and you know it's real because his gun is laying by the front door and he's covered up with a blanket. And it
With
says,
our
a
blanket.
hug from family.
Oh,
It was so cool.
very nice. Well, ladies, that's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
And, you know, we wish you the best on that. That's really, really good. You know, as we're talking, you know, to those that are listening, that's wanting to change careers. We talked a little bit and touched on some of the challenges,
Mhm.
you know, in the business itself. But if you had to advise, you know, someone as far as starting a business, what kind of advice would you give them?
I want to start with this one.
Okay.
when this idea came across my head, I was kind of at a loss.
Mm,
Like what, should I try it on my own? Do I really, I still have my job.
mhm.
But I kind of trusted in the process. And I think you have to, if you have an idea and you wake up every single day thinking about it,
Mhm.
you got to go for it 100%. And everything seems to align. If it's meant to be, it all will align. You'll
Yeah.
meet the right person to partner with
Yeah.
through somebody else. There came a point where I was like, maybe this isn't a good idea. And I went to bed that night thinking about it. And I woke up the next morning and she's like, hey, we just got this great thing that just happened. So then this is a true story. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Cause I was going to give up. And that's why you need a partner.
Exactly, absolutely.
I would say perseverance. I would say be prepared for a lot of hours. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun though. I
Mhm.
love having my own company and I love working with Laurie and having the partnership. But it's blood, sweat, tears and grit and
Mhm.
hours.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you have a lot of responsibility and a lot of things you have to do.
Yeah.
Eventually you have to learn how to delegate because you can't do it all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you delegate, something I have learned is that I have in my mind exactly how this thing is supposed to be.
Mhm.
Well, this person may not, they're a different person, so they're a different perspective,
Right,
but they're still doing what they think is the best outcome.
right,
And it may not be what you're thinking, but it's
Mhm.
still good. And you
Mhm.
just have to accept that.
yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
So that was something I had to learn.
yeah,
Because one
With-
day
with the
she'll
get
come
people that
to
work
me,
for me.
and sometimes she'll come to me and she goes, I'm so overwhelmed. I have all this to do. And I'm like, well, you didn't ask me to do anything.
right,
You
right,
know?
right. Yeah, absolutely. Because, we think that we can do it better. Right. So like what you said earlier, you got to trust the process. You got to trust the people that you delegate to, give them that opportunity. So I wanted to ask, what was the biggest challenge you have today and how did you solve it?
For me, it's technology.
Mm,
I mean, I'm an older lady, and I think the younger ladies and younger men, have an advantage. And if I ask one of my sons to help me, guess what their response is? And one is 18 and one is 26, and they're both brilliant, but their response is, Mom, YouTube it, Google it, figure it out. And I'm back at square one going, I did all that. So that would be, I think, the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and I think that we're gonna have to, our challenge right now, I think is the marketing and the
Mhm.
digital marketing and all of that. I'm just not something I have experience in.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I necessarily want to go and train myself when I can outsource it.
Yeah.
And we need to outsource that part and work with somebody and collaborate with them. And I think that's our biggest thing right now.
Mhm.
Wouldn't you say, Laura?
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a technical question here.
Okay.
In your business, what do you think that you've done so far that's made it faster, better, cheaper, in regards to your processes?
Technology?
Well,
The
shipping,
business in general.
I mean, we figured out shipping costs, how to lower those. That's technology, yeah.
Yeah, I think the online store that we use really automates the whole process from getting the order to knowing, how to, or fulfilling the order
Mhm.
to, and then being able to ship it out to where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So as opposed to, an email that says, hey, can I order a blanket? And then, everything's covered from the beginning to the end.
Seems like you handle operations and Laurie
I do the
sales,
sales.
basically.
Yeah.
Is that what you guys do?
Good
Okay.
observation.
We actually have somebody that does the embroidery for us.
So it's all made here.
Yes,
Mhm.
Do you keep inventory or?
we do. And with COVID, we're having trouble getting more inventory.
Yeah.
So we just, it's a little bit, I noticed even from my other job,
Right.
it seems like from a year ago, it's all of a sudden hitting now production.
Okay.
you
Yeah,
know?
everything's on back order, like
Mhm.
everything.
And
Yeah,
It's
even,
crazy.
I sell watches
Mhm.
and it's the lowest inventory I've ever seen. And yet we are selling more than we've ever sold.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's
Right.
crazy because I can't fulfill the orders fast enough and you got to keep appeasing the client. We haven't run into that yet here and it's something, so we do keep inventory, yes, because if
Okay.
someone needs a gift,
Mhm.
Okay.
we have it.
Yeah, but we keep it minimal because,
We're small still.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But if you call us up, we have a blanket for you.
Okay.
For you too, Juliana.
Thank you.
Different colors, any color I
Yeah, we
want?
have any color. We
Well,
have
zucchini,
blue, red,
gray,
gray,
Purple.
purple. My
green,
son has a
navy,
purple
royal.
one. Yeah, and my other son has a gray one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be blue for my logo, for our
Yes.
logo.
There you go.
So if you were given $1 million
Oh,
today,
yeah, I'd go buy more blankets.
that is the question. What would you do with that? Like, what would be the first thing or the process that you would change? What would you do to make your business better?
Invest in marketing,
Okay.
number one.
More blankets.
Yeah, yeah. And
Upgrade
hire
our
staff,
website.
hire staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
the two
marketing.
biggest thing.
I mean, I'm really gonna go back to marketing because we can have a great message, but if we can't get it out to the masses, what good does it do?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I don't know that it would cost $1 million to market, but, you know, we'd save that money as we grow and expand, you know,
Sure.
reinvest the money.
So where do you see your company in 5 years versus
My-
10 years?
My goal, my first year was to sell 1 million,
1 million blankets?
$1 million.
Okay.
We didn't quite hit that due to COVID and due to, I mean, seriously, we started this right before and then
It was
all of a
literally
sudden.
right before COVID.
But in 5 years, definitely
Okay.
1 million blankets in 5 years, not just
Very
$1 million.
nice. Okay. That's good. You know, that would be a good campaign, actually.
What does that mean?
A million, we've touched 1 million soldiers.
You're going to say.
Or
yes.
1 million college students, you know, because we do college students. I
Mhm.
was sharing with Juliana, my son is getting 6 for his guy friends.
Mm.
They'll hang out and they're all gonna say a hug from Maiden.
Okay, that's good.
He's not bashful.
How about 1 million hugs from home?
Yeah, I love this.
All
I
right.
just got chills. I did, I just got chills. This is so fun.
Oh, okay. All right. So we already talked about what you were going to do with $1 million and where you're going to be in 5 years.
Did we-
If you need a delivery
I
truck,
would say
That's what I'm
delivery
saying.
truck.
that is part of that $1 million
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
you need.
Yep.
So right now your business is in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
right? This is where everything is happening. What other advice could you give to other young women that
Mhm.
wants to start their own business? You know, I want to add, this is kind of like the year, the season for women.
Mhm.
There's a lot more women that you can see that have started, you
Right.
know, their own businesses, changed careers, and it's an amazing time for us.
It is.
So, I mean, we think we need to take advantage of that, right? So there's a lot of women right now that are wanting to hear what you have to say and advice.
I would say take fear off the table. Don't be afraid to fail and take the fear out.
And I would say reach out and network with other women entrepreneurs and
That's a good one, yes.
and sit around the table, go have coffee, whatever, and exchange ideas. I'm part of a group actually right now, which is it's called Streetwise MBA, that program that I'm doing. And in between our sessions, it's a 7-month program. We break out into small mentoring groups, and
Okay.
mine, it's 5 of us. And we just all happen to be women. And we just had our second session yesterday. And the conversation, I mean, we met for almost 3 hours and we all talked about our businesses, our challenges. We're all there supporting each other. We're all like, okay, well, I know this person that can help you with that situation. I know this person. I think that's one of the biggest and best pieces of advice I could recommend to
And-
somebody. Be
and-
really open to it. Talk to your friends, everything.
And Lisa mentioned and I've heard this before too, but know your why. Like, why are you doing it?
Mhm.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a big
Like,
question.
and what's your message? You know, 1 million hugs from home,
Mhm.
etc.
Right, but know your why. Great point.
Three pieces of advice, right? So don't be afraid to fail. Leverage your resources, your peers, your friends, and
Yes.
know your why.
Yeah.
Yes,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Perfect.
Otherwise, it's not like we're just leveraging money.
Yeah.
And
Good job.
And with that said, before I sign off and do a little housekeeping, how can people find you? Where can they email you, connect with you on LinkedIn? Where can they find you?
So we have actually a website.
Blanketsfromhome.com. Easy enough.
Blanketsfromhome.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And
And they can message you there.
They can.
Okay.
And then we are on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And yes, you can
Just type
send.
in Blankets from Home on Facebook and you'll come to our page.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And with that said, thank you so much for being with us today, and we'll see you next time. Until next time,
Bye.
Jay.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
you guys. Thank you.